The ANC in KwaZulu-Natal has briefed the media in Durban. For more, we cross to SABC News editor Ayanda Mhlongo. Good afternoon, Ayanda. What came out this afternoon?
Well, a very good afternoon to you and good afternoon to our viewers. Certainly interesting results that have come out, of course, of the province of KwaZulu-Natal, but more importantly, as the focus has been on the eThekwini Metro. And as you said there, although the ANC has the lead with 42% of the votes and 96 seats of the 222-seat council, however, they do not have enough to govern. The party leaders who've just held a media briefing accepting that the party has not done well, accepting that they need to go back to the drawing board and that there is a lot that the party needs to fix. You know that the party has been battling internal factions within the ANC in the province of KwaZulu-Natal, and more especially here in the eThekwini Metro, where it has 111 wards. Of course, the eThekwini region for the ANC in the province amongst the biggest, if not the biggest, for the party in the country. And these problems have existed in the ANC since around 2015. And it seems that the party has not been able to deal with them internally as well, around issues of the candidate selection. We saw in 2016 there were a number of challenges related to candidate selection, where party members had raised issues around manipulation of the processes. And again, in this year, ahead of this election, over 200 complaints from the branches and the party acknowledging the fact that those issues are what they need to deal with first in trying to sort out the mess. I think there's no other way to put it, the mess that the ANC is in the province of KwaZulu-Natal. Let me bring in now our political analyst as we continue this conversation and look into what is going to be the next step. Of course, the big talk now is around coalitions. Who is going to merge or work with who? Let me bring in now our political analyst, Precious Lugayeni. Precious, well, interesting developments that we've seen. The ANC in the province of KwaZulu-Natal, of course, I don't think they had much of an option but to acknowledge defeat, to acknowledge the loss of support. They are now saying that they're going back to the drawing board. They need to have a look at themselves, an introspection, they're calling it. But this is the same, they said this in 2016 after the local government elections. They said this again after they saw the decline of the party in the 2019 national elections. But still today, the problems are only getting worse.
I think the ANC does not, I said to you earlier, I don't think they do have the ability to correct themselves. If they are going to go back to the drawing board now, they should have gone to the drawing board in 2016. They should have gone there. I said in the morning, I am surprised that they are surprised by this result. This should have been expected. The service delivery protests, the complaints about service delivery, cutting of grass, potholes, refuse removal, all those kinds of things should have indicated to the ANC that their votes are going to decline. And also, they can't blame this to the factions. Factions might have affected them in one way or the other, but they can't blame this dismal performance to the factions, not unless they do some work which will prove that a particular faction did not vote. So unless they do that, so they can't blame this to a faction. Service delivery is key. I have not, though they accede to defeat, but I have not heard them talking about service delivery issues, which means they still don't understand clearly what went wrong.
18 hung municipalities in the province. I think in 2019, I beg your pardon, the 2011 local government elections, there were 19 hung municipalities, and that was after the split between the IFP and the NFP. Majority of those municipalities, of course, the coalition agreements were between the NFP and the ANC. And this time around, it's not easy to tell if you look at the numbers of seats in these municipalities. And of course, I think let's start here with the eThekwini Metro. How is it going to go? We already know that the Democratic Alliance has said they're not going to work with the ANC. The AFF as well, not likely to work with the ANC. You're now left with the IFP, and again, breakdown between those two parties, and then you have the 24 seats which are occupied by the other parties. How do you see it working for the ANC in this metro?
You see, in the news briefing, the EFF said they are not going to go and look for coalitions, but anybody who approaches them will find their door open. That is interesting. But I don't think, like you said, I don't think they will go into a coalition with the ANC, because they have been saying several times that they went to war, and their war was to dislodge the ANC, which I think they have achieved, or it has been achieved. But if you look at eThekwini, for example, the only option that eThekwini has now, where the ANC has 96 seats at 42%, they need to go and back the IFP. That's their only option, because Action SA also has made clear that they will not work with the ANC. So their only option is to work with the IFP. With the 24 smaller parties, we can expect chaos from there. We don't even know who those smaller parties are, whether it's a mix of smaller parties and independent candidates, and also the mandate that those smaller parties had from the people who voted for them. Of course, there's no mechanism in South Africa to allow the voters to decide who their party goes into coalition with. So they're too many and too small, but they will help the ANC in terms of the numbers. But in terms of performance, I think we can expect chaos.
Speaking of chaos, 18 hung municipalities across the province of KwaZulu-Natal, some of them critical, including eThekwini. Now, when parties don't fare well, voters want to hold a party accountable. In this instance, with coalitions, where does it leave the ordinary citizens? Where does it leave the people who have voted for these parties, hoping that they are going to deliver? Who do you hold accountable?
In fact, Ayanda, when we talk about accountability, the accountability for the parties is non-existent. The voters have no way of keeping the party accountable. It will be worse with the coalition, because when they disagree, one party will move away from the agreement. It's going to be a chaos, like I said earlier.
All right, my precious Lugayeni, thank you so much for your time there. We'll continue, of course, to give our viewers some more of the election results coming from the province of KwaZulu-Natal. For now, back to you.